Good Monday, Cup of Sales Joe. Over the last few years of doing this message, I've had quite a few people ask me, why is it so long? Or why do you go into such detail about such simple topics? The reason I do that is because I am naturally a teacher or coach. And I not only want to communicate a specific topic, lesson, or message, but I want to help you to think through it with me. And also so that you can think through it on your own. Not just what I've learned over my time, but why I learned it and why it makes sense. Because my hope is that I am not like the traditional school system that simply teaches a topic so that it can be regurgitated or recited again sometime. I'm less concerned about the actual lessons that you get from my message and more concerned about how you think, how maybe you change your thinking based on the message. Because true education and growth and learning doesn't just change what we think, but it changes how we think.
Are we just like all the rest? We're looking too hard for something he's got, or moving too fast to rest.
Because we are on our own a lot of the time with our work, especially if you work remote or on the road, so we will never be able to recall all of the things we have learned and bring them to bear on any particular situation throughout our lives. But what we will be able to do is leverage the thinking that we have learned to do and apply that anytime. That's the difference to me between the successories quote on the wall and what I endeavor to do with this message. Yes, you'll get plenty of platitudes and anecdotes and quotes from me during these messages because I think that's the way we traditionally think, or at least how we've been conditioned to think. It's the entry point to true growth and learning. I mean, what exactly has a quote taught you? What it does do is it makes you think. You may agree with a particular platitude or not, but if it's good, then either way, it makes you think. And that's the key. The key to education and growth and learning and excelling and getting better at what we do, well, that's learning. Learning a better way or a different way, or enhancing the way we currently think. So that's why I'm going into so much detail, sometimes so much that the current social media goldfish attention span can't really stick with me. And aren't we most times really interested in a better way or a different way or enhancing the way we currently think? Well, that's more than just entertainment. That is learning.
Think about it. There must be higher love down in the heart and in the stars above.
Look, I understand that we not only want to learn, but we do want to be entertained. In fact, that was one of the reasons that I dropped music into the message periodically. I realize that nobody wants to hear somebody drone on for 10 minutes about a single topic. But I don't think that means that the lessons are any less important. And it's impossible to communicate a way that makes you think differently in 1 minute. So my endeavor is to get you to think differently by providing how I think differently, and I'm working on that skill along with the lessons that come from it, in hopes that you will not just take what I say at face value, but will also think through what I say, what it means to you, and how it can help you to become better at what you do.
I've been thinking way too much. I've been thinking way too much. Oh yeah.
Like you, I am always looking for the quick fix, the aspirin that will cure my ills. But the reality is that there is no such thing, unless it's something you're giving yourself, or something you already have but you're not tapping into. You have within you the power to cure any of your problems, solve any of your ills, and be better than you have been. That's the sobering truth, but we don't choose that a lot of the time, do we? Instead, we chase pleasure, or the next best thing, or the path of least resistance. And that leads to a bit of building resistance to harder work, or closing our minds to the opinions of others that counter our own, and even an intolerance to change. Eventually we get to the point where we flit like a hummingbird from flower to flower, whatever we can grab in the moment, and then move on. I'm guilty of it too. But if we really stop for a moment and take a breath, we realize that road that we're on isn't leading where we really want to be. Oh, I know the scenery is nice for a moment, but eventually we will realize that we're looking at the same scenery over and over and over again. In order to change what we see, well, that will have to come from us. It's not a new river that we stare into, but it's a new reflection that we see in the same river. If you are still with me, then I hope you have arrived at the idea that not only do quick fixes and chasing the easy or quick pleasure not only is temporary, but it's truly not fulfilling. It's even keeping us from developing the best of ourselves. Because time and attention are our most precious commodities, and if we are willing to give them to the quick, the easy, and the shiny, we don't have it left to invest in the durable, the fulfilling, and the deeply rewarding. Let me equate this a little bit to nutrition. We all see the state of health and food these days. More fast food options than ever. It has become easier and cheaper to eat these offerings than ever before. But is it in our best interests? The obesity and health crisis is also worse than it has ever been. That connection is undeniable. The standard American diet is literally sad. But until we realize where this easy, fast, and intoxicating path is leading, we won't have the bandwidth to do something better or different. And that is to our own peril, if we realize it. But what if everyone is doing it? What if these options are what are portrayed to us as cool, fun, and popular, and we want to be cool and popular? So maybe the fault is not in our marketplace, but it's with us. We should understand that there is a cost to things and a benefit. Sometimes we are willing to get the benefit, but we underestimate the cost. How many times in this day and age does the benefit come well before the cost so we don't equate it? With most good and long-lasting things, the cost comes before the benefit. The hard work comes before the promotion. The research and relationships come before the sale. But we conflate what we feel we deserve with what we are willing to pay. It's the age-old joke that we will give the stove fuel when it gives us heat. But we sometimes think we can get the heat without having to provide the fuel. We can get the benefit now, and we'll just deal with the cost later.
We will pay the price, but we will not count the cost.
So, how do we reorient ourselves? I believe, as with many other things, the first step is awareness. How aware are we of these influences and our behavior in light of them? A sober look at ourselves, with enough time to truly sit with it, can yield great insight, perspective, and benefit. I'll talk more in the future about radical awareness and how to practice it, but realize now that we can improve what we have allowed into our awareness. And the benefits of this are not so obvious because they are not tangible nor quick. But they are what makes us better, more capable, and create a future better than the present. So take some time to think what you want, what you're willing to pay for it, and if it's truly worth it, that it will not come easy, but that you are capable and worthy of this work, even if it's not cool or popular. Have a great week.